Hey guys, so in today's video I wanted to talk to you about how I made $4,500 trading this beautiful JUDAS swing setup on Euro USD just a couple of days ago. And not only did I take that myself, but I also sent it into the Discord where me and everyone in the Discord were able to take this trade together and bank a solid $4,500 or a 1-to-4 risk to reward. Now, this trade was following the JUDAS swing framework, and if you haven't done so already, I would highly suggest going down in the description and downloading the framework that I've created completely for free, as this is going to give you a very good insight into exactly how I take these trades and why I take these trades. So first of all, let's jump straight into the first step, and that is identifying our directional bias. Now, for me, I personally like to identify the directional bias on the 15-minute time frame, as this means we are able to capitalize on the intraday moves that happen. Of course, we want to keep the daily, the 4-hour, the hourly all in mind, but because we are only taking intraday trades, the 15-minute is more than sufficient enough in order for us to take these trades. Now, let's do that straight away. What I'm going to do is replay price so that we are back just here so that we can take this trade together. Let me remove these drawings, and the first thing that we do is come on to the 15-minute and understand where we are in terms of direction. So as we can see, price is creating a very steady series of higher highs and higher lows. So our next anticipation is that price is going to give us a higher high before giving us a higher low, right? So that is our intention, which means that we are bearish on the 15-minute because we want to see a higher high and then a higher low. The higher high will be placed just above the Asia session range, and I'll go into this as we get along in this video. Now, if we also, like I said, go up to the higher time frames just quickly, just so that we can see what's going on, we had this sort of supply zone right here, and on the 15-minute we can see that a little bit clearly. So we had the supply zone with this fair value gap, and I was anticipating that price would come into this, sweep the Asia highs, adding more confluence to our trades before giving us that lower leg. So we've come to the conclusion that our higher time frame is telling us that we are bearish, therefore we want to start looking for sells. Now, just quickly, I wanted to touch on something that is happening right now. I'm doing a funded account giveaway where I'm giving away 3 $10,000 past funded accounts, and to win this giveaway, all you simply have to do is like my post on Instagram, tag 2 friends in the comments, and also be part of the VIP group, and the link for this is in the description below. Now, I'm going to leave a link to this giveaway on my Instagram as well, so that you guys can come check this out. Also check out the video as well that I done on my birthday just a couple days ago, and make sure that you're part of the giveaway because you literally have such a high chance of winning. The odds are very much in your favor. Now, let's go straight back into the analysis of this trade. Our next step is to understand that the JUDAS swing happens at the end of the Asia session between the times of 7 and 9 a.m. UK time. Now, change this according to your own time zone, but the number one thing that I want to stress is that this is our time window for the JUDAS swing to happen, not for a setup to form. Now, the JUDAS swing is simply a sweep of either the Asia high or the low, not the market structure shift, which gives us the entry. We just want to see a sweep of either the high or the low between this time. If it doesn't happen between this time, we're not interested in that trade for the day. But if the swing happens between this time and we don't get an entry until 10, that's perfectly fine. Now, let's move on to the next step, which is to understand that our liquidity is the high and low of the Asia session range. So for me, the Asia session is marked out between midnight and 7 a.m. UK time. Again, update this according to your own time zone. And once we mark that out, we simply just wait for a sweep of either the high or the low. Now, what I do is I use this indicator called the Asian Session Range by Rob Minty, and all this simply does is mark out the Asia high and low between 12 midnight and 7 a.m. UK time so that I don't have to manually mark it out myself. However, just for the sake of this video, I will also mark that out with these dotted lines right here. So there's our Asia session low and there is our Asia session high. So our next step is to simply wait for a sweep of either the high or the low. Now we know that we're anticipating sells. Therefore, what we want to see is a sweep of these highs before a market structure shift. So if we move on to the next step, which is to wait for the market structure shift, we drop down to the 1 minute and we wait. So let's do that together. If I drop down to the 1 minute, we're now simply going to play price on and wait for a sweep of either side. Now, as you can see right there, we've got a very, very clear sweep of the Asia high. And that is perfect because that's exactly what we're looking for. We've swept the Asia high into our higher time frame area of interest. We're anticipating sells, so all of the confluences are now lining up. So now that we've got the sweep of the Asia high, our next step is to simply wait for a market structure shift. And if we take a look at what price is doing, we can start to identify that price is giving us a series of higher highs and higher lows. So now that we've got this higher low right here and this higher high right here, for us to see a market structure shift, we want to break this higher low, giving us a lower low before we get a lower high and a continuation lower. So in order for us to see a market structure shift, we really want to see this low break right here, because once this low breaks, we know that we've shifted from bullish to bearish. So again, if I play price on, what we will very clearly see is that right there we get a break of this higher low, giving us this lower low. Therefore, our next anticipation is for us to get a lower high and a continuation lower. Now, it was at this point that I sent this EU sell limit right here into the Discord. And the reason why I sent it just like this is because I wanted to make sure that we got this inside bar right here as the entry, because this is where the momentum flowed into the market and the market gave us the market structure shift. So if we mark this out, this is how I had this set up. So if we go back to our framework, our next step is to identify a fair value gap. And a fair value gap is when we have exponential price displacement to one side. In the image above, we can see that that is where we had a lot of selling pressure with no buys, leaving a fair value gap. So in this example, we can identify what a fair value gap is so that we can now start looking for it on our own charts. So after we identify our fair value gap, we will take our entry at the open of the fair value gap. Our stops will go above the most recent high or low, and we will always target the opposing liquidity. So that is now our framework completed. We've identified this trade setup. So now all we have to do is figure out where our fair value gap is. And as we can see right here, we've got this beautiful fair value gap where price came in and gave us all of this displacement to the downside, which also broke structure as well. So because of this, we know that this is a high confluence area. So I decided to target just above it where the inside bar is, because again, this is consolidation on the lower time frame before a market structure shift, which makes it very, very high confluence. So this is how I had the trade set up. This is what I sent into the Discord for the members to take as well. And now if I play price on, what we will start to see is that price came back up. Let me very quickly put on the short position tool right there. So I had it just like this with stops just above the most local high. And our first targets was right here. So the opposing liquidity, which is the Asia lows, for a very nice 1 to 2.3% risk to reward. But then I also wanted to take it just a little bit lower so we can target all the way down there. And if we jump up onto the 15 minute, what we can see is that was the low of this range too. So that was the extended targets for this trade, but our immediate and first target was the low of the Asia session range. So again, if I play price on, what we can see is that price came down, came back up and gave us this beautiful tap. If I drop down to the 1 minute, you will see that we got this perfect tap into this trade, and then price just rallied away. Very, very minimal drawdown, ran straight to our first target, which was right here. So our 1 to 2 risk to reward right there, very minimal drawdown. And after that, again, price also ran straight down to our extended target. So that was a very beautiful trade with very minimal drawdown. and everyone was also able to capitalize this trade just like I was. And also this was last week when it was my birthday, so I was out in Dubai and I was still able to manage and take this trade along with everyone in the Discord. So I hope you guys learned something from this trade. I hope you guys understood how the higher time frame influences the lower time frames and exactly why Judas swing is such a powerful trading model. On that note, guys, I will love you and leave you. And if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.